talking about stuff we agreed about. How does that, like, you know, George Michael died in 2016, do you remember? Right? And it was part of, he died Christmas 2016, it was part of what I would call the celebrity death phenomenon of 2016. Do you remember that? No. Do you know when you're sitting at home and you're thinking, at the time I wasn't sure if it was my imagination or whether it was really, by way of a cheer, give me a cheer if you did think 2016 was a weird year for celebrity deaths. It's not just me, I thought you were fucking mad then for a second. It's not just, it was weird, but it's like every week. I forget the exact intervals of celebrities, but maybe it was every 2 weeks. Basically, we're just getting over one person dying, and fucking another one were coming. All of those, and then 2017 it just stopped. It just stopped like nothing. Looking at a single celebrity who's died since, not one. I'm thinking of Bruce Forsyth, he was dead already, it doesn't count. It was the weirdest year. And Bowie started it, obviously, didn't he? David Bowie, always the fucking trendsetter, isn't he? Always at the forefront of these fashions, isn't he? David Bowie dies. January 2, he was the first, and then everybody's fucking fuck this, right? Bowie's gone. I wasn't going to die for another 40 years, but he usually knows what he's doing. I'm going to die as well. All the musicians were off. It was Rick Parfitt took Status Quo, he buggered off. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Leonard Cohen, Prince, you're only 57. Come back, mate. Don't do 57, come back. Prince was like, no, fuck, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh, fucking babies. Oh, shit of impressions you learned that. I know it's not perfect. Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, he finally made up his mind as well, didn't he? Ronnie Colbert got involved, he wanted a slice of it. Fucking Colbert, he wasn't usually one to follow David Bowie. I don't know why he got involved. I think he just saw the crowd, got confused. He probably couldn't see what was going on at the front. He was like, these all fucking got it. No, they got the fucking. Next thing he knew, Colbert was dead as well. And then Christmas week, there was a mad rush to get in before the January deadline, wasn't it? It was like Black Friday, it was one a fucking day, Christmas week. It was like a stampede of them. Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher, in you come, George Michael, all right, come on in, you fucking come, whatever, in you go. And then bang, the shutters came down, didn't they? January the 1st, 2017, that's it, no more celebrities, back you go. Nothing to see, move along celebrities, please, move along. If you didn't make it in already, that's it, too late to admit. Sorry, Sting, I'd love to fucking help, I really would. By the way, you'd be in pal, that's what I can do. Sorry, Bono, take the stupid glasses off. You'll get you on time next time. Oh, Prince Philip, look, Prince Philip, yes, the Duke of Edinburgh, yeah, I know who you are. Back you go, back. I know your loyalty, mates, doesn't matter. If I make an exception for you, we'll have to do it for everybody. Go on, back you go. I don't care if you didn't drive here, fuck off. We don't go too far, Prince Philip, take a seat there, we should. Guys, have a coffee and try not to keep George Michael died Christmas Day. We were both fat in John. What happened was he died Christmas Day 2016. I was in the car with John. A few months later, one of his songs came on, right? And we were talking about it, and we were both big fans of George Michael. Like, he was a brilliant artist, great voice, a fucking lovely man. I think he died far too young and tragic. We agreed about all that shit. This is why we argue, right? See which side of this argument you would be on, right? I need you to think clearly about which side of this argument you would be on, right? And I need you to remember mine and John's respective positions, right? I was saying no, and John was saying yes. You got that? Not sure. I was saying no. What was I saying? No. John was saying yes. What was John saying? Yes. I was saying it wasn't. John was saying it was. And the argument was about whether it was really ironic that George Michael had died last Christmas. You're with me, right? You're with me. Oh, come on. No, it's like that's what he was saying. John was like, he died last Christmas, Ron. You had a really big hit called Last Christmas. I was like, I'm not a fucking idiot, mate. I see where you're going with this. I just don't think it's very ironic. It's a bit of a coincidence that he died at Christmas when he had a big hit about Christmas. bed and the friend promises to wake him up before he goes to work, and the friend forgets and leaves him under there all day, and he comes home in the evening with just a little crisp and a smoking tin of Speedos. That's a fucking ironic way for George Michael to have gone. If he says he's never going to dance again, he says, I'm never dancing again, that's it. And then he goes on a cruise, doesn't he? And the music's really good in the disco. He's up on deck, he's dancing away, he's having a great time, and then there's a big wave, and he loses his foot, and he stands on somebody's foot. Now he feels guilty. Oh, he's guilty if he can got no rhythm, right? And he dances straight off the side of a ferry and drowns. It's more unusual than ironic, that one, I get that. The only way, I'll tell you what, I'll accept it. I'll accept it was ironic he died last Christmas if George Michael was on the organ donation register, right? And when he died, he gave his heart to somebody else. And then the very next day, and it's got to be the very next day, not a few days later or the following week, fuck off, it's got to be Boxing Day, 2016, that person dies and gives George Michael's heart to a third party, right? So anyway, wow, take it on the image, that's it. Not George Michael, but John. John's the weirdo. We've all, I'll tell you the kind of weirdo he is. You'll all know a weirdo a bit like this, right? We've all met them. You know when you're in the pub or in work or whatever, there's loads of you on a nice chat. Everyone's on the same wavelength, aren't they? And somebody comes in on the end and says something so fucking weird and random. I said, everybody back to work, fuck that. That's that conversation stone dead, isn't it? You know that? If you're sitting there going, I don't know anybody like that. He used to do it to me all the time. He would have just a little line, like a little throwaway line, and to listen out for him. A little throwaway line, and something, you know, like that just left you thinking, what do I do with that? What do I say to that? What do I continue? Like, I'll give you an example. We passed a place called Bird World once, like it's in Surrey somewhere. We didn't go in, it's just you go past one of those brown signs, pictures of a bird on it. It's a bird world. Presumably it's a bird sanctuary. I don't know, I haven't been there. Right? But just to make conversation, I said, have you ever been there, John? Bird world? He went, oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, me and the wife have been there a few times, yeah. Yeah, it's great, yeah. And he went, oh, we couldn't live there. What's supposed to do with that? Why would I even ask you if we live in a fucking bird sanctuary? What are you talking about? Some of you will think this is a bit hypocritical, right? Some of you know me best might think this is a little bit pot kettle, right? But John used to get very angry about some very small things. Yes, I know. I know in the past I might have got a little bit worked up. But I always had a reason, didn't I? I fucking did, whether you think so or not, I did. I did, whether it was having to buy 2 baked potatoes when everybody wanted one. That's about packaging and the environment, or if it was about the impenetrable top rating system of duvets, right? Because nobody knows what the fuck is going on with duvets, do they still? Or, bullshit product claims like torches of the power of 1 million candles, and nobody thinks in candles. And all good reasons for me to get annoyed, or why are they losing my luggage, or £200 electric toothbrushes, or travelling chefs who won't sell me an egg and cress sandwich because this is last month and he sells it to people who know he does egg and cress sandwiches. All good reasons. Or better than John's, anyway. Better than John. John gets angry about nothing. Worse than nothing. John will he'll misunderstand something and then get angry about his own incorrect interpretation. That's not fair. You can't do that in an argument. You can't get the wrong end of the stick and then blame somebody else for the end of the stick that you've got. That's what John does. You know that Marks and Spencer's advert, right? It came on the radio one time, we were driving along. They're very proud of their meat and their beef on their Marks and Spencer's. In fact, they can trace it back and all this shit, right? And I am no champion for Marks and Spencer's, right? I am no ambassador for Marks and Spencer's. I don't do any adverts, right? But listen, I'm on their side on this one against John, though. I can tell you that. Right? This was the advert came on. It said, if you buy a joint of beef from us, we can trace that beef back to the very farm, even back to the very animal it came from. John heard that, he went, what's the matter with that? This beef is going to be a cow. I was like, yeah, I think they mean the actual cow, John. went, what's the point of tracing that back? It's probably not even there anymore. You never know, it might be there in the back of the herd, fucking opening along. Wait for me! Massive hole in his arse, they all stink. Fucking M&S butcher riding him round the farm to the mince and chivots. Alright, I'm no expert, I'm no expert, I never said I was an expert. I'm like, oh, hey, don't back down on me now, mate, don't lose confidence, mate. I'm relying on you. Anyway, the age of the expert is dead. Your batch's opinions are as valid as anybody's. I'm pretty sure your opinions can end up in a book anyway, so you carry on. You could give him any subject. Pick any subject in the world at random. He'd know fuck all about it. Give him a penny for his thoughts on any subject, if you were 8 quid change. What? No, it wasn't a new thing either. As far as I could work out, he'd been like this since he was a kid. He'd been like this all his life, right? He used to tell me stories about him and his brother growing up. They were like haunting. Not haunting scary, but haunting. You know when somebody puts an image in your head and you think, I don't think I'll ever get rid of that. I think I could go to my grave with that image. You know what they say when your life flashes before you die? I don't think mine will. I think I'll get bits of jobs, honestly. Keep in touch after the show. Let's all keep in touch. I'm going to put an image in your head. Keep in touch after the show, all of us. Just let me know how long this image lasts. How long this image stays with you, right? Because John told me, the last kids, him and his brother, loved playing Connect 4, right? They loved Connect 4 as kids. But they hadn't realised you could close that little thing on the bottom. There's nothing I can say is going to be any funnier than that. Nothing I can say. You can have that image on me. Have it as a bonus gift. I don't know what images you've got in your head. Yours is funnier than mine. What the fuck have you got in there? In my head, I've just got 2 little kids surrounded by peace gifts. Who do you think's won this? Okay, really going through the gears, aren't you? Don't make me throw you up on that. Some of you quite like him now, I can feel it happening, you can cut that out. I think he sounds quite sweet, he's an irritating little shit, that's what you need to remember. He's an irritating shit, and I knew he was going to be irritated from the very first moment I met him, right? The very first conversation, he didn't know who I was, and that's not why I found him irritating. He didn't know who I was, what I mean is he didn't know who I was, he was being very formal, and he was there with a tie and a clipboard, which isn't really my world, he said, this is the first thing he said to me. He said, Mr. Gilbert, I see you spell your first name R-H-O-D, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, how do you want me to spell it? The same? He's like, correct it if you want, I can put R-O-D on the form, it's not a problem. You're not correcting my fucking name, John, it's spelled like that. He's like, alright, you're the boss, it's not about being the fucking boss, that's my name. I'm not pulling rat grades, I'm not insisting you spell my name weirdly because I'm the fucking boss. You should do that to me all the time. Whenever he was losing an argument, he would never admit he was wrong. He would always go, alright then, you're the boss. That was his way out of every fucking argument. So driving him the walls, you can never finish it out, you can never finish your point. You're the boss, and he'd always just dismiss it like that. Fucking, he made me laugh though, fair play. As much as you, but he did make it. I mean, not on purpose either. He never made me laugh once deliberately. Just like being a twat. But it doesn't matter what shit I was going through, even when I had this stroke thing, right? Even when I had this stroke thing, so his reaction to that is in the book. I'll come on to that in a second, but his his reaction to my stroke is insane. He was furious. I had this stroke thing. I was on the toilet. Which does not make it any easier to explain when you get to hospital. But you go in and tell me about a stroke on the toilet, see how far you get. Well, I got guilty with a banking injury. What's that, your face went down? Fucking hell, it's a serious wanking. My legs got a bit wobbly a couple of times. My whole side was paralysed. Fucking hell. Give me a high five. Oh, you can't. No five. This is what happened. I work with the Stroke Association now, right? And I know every stroke is unique. They're all completely different, right? You never know what's going on. This is what happened with me. Right, so this was the first minute. I was sitting on the toilet, minding my own business. The next thing, this arm shoots up in the air. I started trying to wave at myself in my own bathroom mirror. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? And then my face sort of froze and collapsed, and which is more like what you would expect, isn't it? And then my side sort of went paralysed, and then I fell off the toilet. And the pain in my head, I'll describe it. This is how I describe it to you. Imagine if you got your brain caught in your zip. For about 3 minutes, and you were trying to yank it. By the way, if anything like this happens to you, I hope you know, I hope you know that you ring 999 immediately, don't you? Don't do what I did, which is ring your GP and get an appointment the following week. Because the symptoms passed. The symptoms just completely passed. I rang my GP on this the Thursday, and an appointment the following Wednesday. I ended up in hospital in London, in a stroke clinic in Hammersmith in London, right? It's called a TIA in a posh word for a transient ischemic attack, which is when the blood stops flowing to your brain, which is what a stroke is, right? So they found out, they knew that quite quickly, but then they wanted to find out if there was any underlying health problems. So I was in and out of hospital for a year, and I couldn't drive for any of this time, which is why I got John involved in my life. And then, like every bloody scan, we take MRI scans, CAT scans, CT scans, EEG scans, ultrasounds, and blood flow to the brain, blood flow around the heart, and all this shit. And then pretty much a year to the day, right? They called me in, they sat me down, they said, Mr. Gilbert, we finally got all your results. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? And they went, no idea. Gravity sat me down for that. Off I went. It was a year. Which, you can imagine, right? So they didn't know what had caused it, why it had it, which left me feeling a bit weird, right? A little bit vulnerable. But John, he's fucking furious, right? He's furious because he wants to know all about it, and I can't really tell him, and he's really curious, and when he's asking me all these questions, I can't answer them, right? He said, what did they say? I was like, well, all they said was the blood stopped flowing to my brain, right? He said, what else did they say? I said, well, they said to think of it as a warning stroke. Right? John, what was it warning you about? I said, it was warning me that I could have a stroke. John, that's fucking pointless. They should have warned you earlier. I said, who's they? He said, the doctors. I said, the NHS didn't arrange this stroke, John. They just call it a warning stroke. They also call it a mini stroke. They call it a TI. He said, why do they call it a warning stroke? I said, because 1 in 3 people who get this then go on to have a full-blown stroke. John, but you didn't. Give me a fucking chance, right? I just had this one. I said, while this makes it more likely I'll have a stroke, a full-blown stroke, there's things I can do. I can cut down on the booze, I can start exercising, all the usual healthy shit, And he was smoking throughout this conversation, John. He was puffing away, right? So I said, well, I've given up smoking. So that's a good thing. It did take me years to give up, so maybe the damage is already done. Who knows? John, did you used to smoke then, Rod? Yeah, it's partly what took me so long to give up, I think. I'm going to have this show written by tonight. John, what show? In fact, did I say that out loud? And then we had one of the most confusing 10 seconds of my life. Right? John, so do you think smoking caused your stroke? I was like, I don't know. It might have done, it might not. I suppose I'm 50-50. John, what's that going to do with it? Me. Sorry? John, what's that going to do with it? Me. What's what going to do with what? John, you're 50-50. Me, I know I am. I just told you that. John, what's that going to do with it? Me. Sorry. John, what's that with me? What the fuck are you asking me? John, what's your eyesight going to do with it? Eyesight? You're talking percentages. Percentages, please. I can't do percentages. We never did percentages. See, you don't need to be Rachel Riley for this one, mate. It's the same fucking number on both sides. 50% of me thinks said, I thought, let's scrap it. Here we go, the best is still to come. I said, the thing is, Rod, he said, the thing is, I don't even think cigarettes themselves are that bad for you. I was like, okay, let's have it, twattipedia, come on. Get ready for John's unique insights into the dangers of cigarettes. They should put this on the side of the pack. Anybody involved in this, they should put this at the side of the pack, honestly. John, I don't think cigarettes themselves are that bad for you. It's only when you smoke them, they're really bad. Why isn't that on the pack, though? I didn't know that. Did you know how many people know that? Then we tried to establish how long I'd smoked for and how long I'd given up. I say we tried to establish it. John tried to establish it. I know how long I've smoked for and how long I've given up. It should be a 3-second conversation. Unfortunately, John's arithmetic is worse than his percentages. If you've got a pen and paper, just for a bit of fun, see if you can follow John's maths. Jot it down, I'll go nice and slowly so you can jot it down, you can keep up. John, how long did you smoke for, Rod? Me, I smoked for 20 years, John, and then I gave up about 8 years ago. John, well, if you only smoked for 12 years, it's not too bad.